Excuse me, could we please have your attention? We are about to call the California Board of Accountancy's meeting on professional conduct to order. Let's start, please, by taking roll. Good morning to all. And if we could start with Jose.
Jose Campos.
Deirdre Robinson.
George Tremolette.
Dan Jacobson.
Carrie Ann Farrell.
And just as a reminder, with our new mics, you'll see a button in the middle. If you push it to green, then that means we're on. Let's keep it close to us because they were having difficulty at the last committee meeting to be able to hear. And when you want to go on mute, just push the button to that. Thank you. So moving on to the agenda item, number 1, the approval of the minutes from the March 22nd committee meeting. Can we take a vote?
I move to approve.
There's a motion by Mr. Campbell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Familette. May we please have a vote?
Jose Campos,
Yes.
George Familette,
Yes.
Carrie Ann Farrell Hines,
Abstain.
Dan Jacobson,
Yes.
and Deirdre Robinson.
Abstain. Next on the agenda item is the discussion regarding whether to allow continuing education credit for licensees serving on the California Board of Accountancy Advisory Committee. I'd like to note that at the CBA's November 2017 meeting, a member requested to bring this topic to a future CBA meeting. Ms. Sanchez, good morning, and we welcome you for the presentation.
Thank you. Good morning. Okay, so let's begin. The purpose of this agenda item is to provide the opportunity to allow discussion regarding continuing education, or CE credit, for licensees serving on the CBA advisory committees. The specific committees that we're referencing today is the Qualifications Committee. I'm going to just not move my hands around. The Enforcement Advisory Committee and the Peer Review Oversight Committee. An overview of each committee's makeup is provided in Attachment 1, outlines their activities. This topic has been discussed by CBA in the past, most recently in November 2017, where the CBA was presented with an agenda item that discussed allowing CE credit for the activities of CBA members along with the advisory committees. Staff stated in that item that committee activities do not qualify as acceptable CE under the current under the current CBA regulations. After discussion, a member asked for this topic to be brought back again to focus the discussion specifically on CBA advisory committees and whether offering CE credit would assist the CBA in its recruitment efforts. As the CBA deliberates this topic, it will need to conclude that the time spent in carrying out the activities of these committees contributes directly to the professional competence of a licensee in public practice pursuant to CBA regulations. If the CBA believes there should be a change to accommodate committee activities, it will need to ensure the regulatory proposal meets the requirements established by the Administrative Procedures Act, as identified on page 3 of the agenda item. The present statutory authority of CE is focused on maintaining competency and not committee recruitment, so the CBA may face difficulty in getting approval through the regulatory process. If the CBA would like staff to pursue a regulatory change, page 3 of the agenda item bullets out the minimum requirements that would need to be considered prior to pursuing the reg change. That concludes my presentation. I'd like to turn it back over to Madam Chair, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from board members or discussion? And I'd like to ask for a motion to take a vote. Yes.
I move that we recommend that the committees be eligible, that staff come up with a proposal to make the committees eligible for continuing education credit.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, recruitment efforts, maybe somewhere in there as something that we, that are important, on a practical sense. I think that President Savoy has, in his position as Vice President, was close enough to these committees to understand what they do, and that what they do would meet the continuing education requirements. So, while I see that, I don't think that quite frankly, when we put this forward, recruitment efforts should be put in bold or even mentioned. But the things that do meet the requirements should be mentioned, and I trust our president in what he said, and I think we should vote to approve the motion.
I don't see a real business case for that. Recruiting seems to be really the only dominant factor there. I fully understand what the committees do, but we need CPAs who are already qualified to join those committees to execute what we need them to do, not to have that be the way that they get qualified for renewals. And so I just do not see that being a winning argument on trying to get that through a regulatory process. And so to expend the effort to go through this would be, I think, above and beyond. And I think it just smacks completely in the face of the same legislative discussion that we had about why legislators who might be dealing with business issues, those kinds of things that might qualify, it just seems like the same concept. So, I just don't see, being supportive of this.
Is there any other discussion? I kind of sided with Mr. Campos because of the lift that would be involved to make this a regulation. And if it is only for recruitment purposes or to kind of offer a carrot, if you will, to those to come and join our board, I was very concerned about that, and whether or not we want to make it a regulation. So that was kind of my opinion on the measure as well. So we had a motion with a second. Is there any further, and then we went into discussion. Is there, where do we stand at this point in terms of protocol?
You would need to take the vote. If the discussion is finished.
Are we through with the discussion?
Comments from the public?
Oh, that's right, that too. Are there comments from the public? Okay, then let's have it.
Deirdre Robinson,
No.
Dan Jacobson,
Yes.
Carrie Ann Farrell Hines,
Yes.
George Familet,
Yes.
and Jose Campos.
No.
Thank you. So, moving on to agenda item number 3, are there any public comments at this time? Seeing none, I move that we, are there any, let me just ask one other question, are there any agenda items for the next meeting?
Paulina Lopez.